Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're looking at something pretty significant, OpenAI's new coding tool, Codex. It's just been released as a sidebar feature in ChatGPT.
That's right. The source we're digging into is an article from May 16th, 2025.
Yep. And our goal here is, to really understand what Codex is, how it actually functions, and maybe unpack its potential impact, especially if you're trying to stay ahead of these tech shifts.
Absolutely. It feels like a big step. So let's start right there. What exactly is Codex?
Okay, think of ChatGPT, but now it has this dedicated coding assistant built right in. The article calls it an agentic coding tool.
Agentic meaning it can take action.
Exactly. You give it a prompt, hit a code button, and it generates code. Simple as that on the surface.
But it sounds like there's more to it. The article mentions it can interact with your computer, right? Like read files.
Yeah, that's a really interesting part. It can read and edit your local computer files, run terminal commands. It can even look through your whole code base if you use the ask button to, answer specific questions about it.
Wow, okay. So it's not just generating snippets in isolation. It's actually working within your development environment,
Right.
potentially.
And apparently it's pretty quick. OpenAI says most tasks, depending on how complex they are, take somewhere between 1 and 30 minutes.
1 to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
That could be a huge time saver. Or, well, disruptive. How does it manage all that? What's the process like?
Well, the article stresses that the whole workflow is, quote, 100% auditable.
Auditable, meaning you can see exactly what it did.
Yeah, like a detailed log. You get citations of the terminal logs, the test outputs. Basically, you can trace every step it took, which is good for trust, I guess.
Transparency is definitely key when you're letting AI handle code.
Plus, it does all this coding work in its own sandboxed, isolated environment. So you can check the code, then easily pull it into your project or upload it to GitHub.
Okay, that makes sense. Safe and traceable. But let's zoom out. The elephant in the room,
Hmm.
what does this mean for software developers? The coder economy.
Yeah, the article goes there directly. It poses the question. If you can hire, say, a junior coder who uses Codex effectively, does that make them as productive as a senior engineer? Or maybe even more cost-effective?
Oof.
It literally asks if this could spell big trouble for the coder economy. It's a pretty provocative thought.
It really is. It might not just eliminate jobs, but maybe fundamentally change what being a coder means.
Mm.
Perhaps less focus on writing every single line and more on like high-level design, integration, prompt engineering, guiding the AI.
Like conducting an orchestra, maybe, instead of playing every instrument.
That's a good analogy. But with any powerful tool, there's the flip side. Misuse. What about security? Can someone use this to build, I don't know, malware?
OpenAI claims they've built in safeguards. The article says Codex is engineered to identify and precisely refuse requests aimed at development of malicious software.
Okay, so it's supposed to refuse bad requests.
Right, while still being helpful for legitimate coding tasks. But the article also notes that the specifics of how these safeguards work aren't detailed. Gizmodo apparently reached out for more info.
Yeah, you definitely want to know more about that. It's crucial. So who gets to use this thing now? And what's the cost?
Okay, so right now it's in what they call a research preview. It was initially rolled out just for subscription tier ChatGPT users.
Gotcha.
But starting today, May 20th, based on the dates, if you're a ChatGPT Pro, Enterprise, or Team user, you apparently get free access.
Free access for subscribers. Okay.
Okay.
And down the line.
They mention plans for rate-limited access and flexible pricing options later on for wider usage, so tiered access eventually.
Makes sense. Standard rollout plan.
So just to recap, Codex is this powerful agentic coding assistant inside ChatGPT. It can read files, run commands, write code, and it's auditable. Big potential for efficiency.
But also some pretty serious questions about the future of coding jobs and, of course, security.
Exactly. It's definitely one to watch.
For sure.
And that brings us to our final thought for you, the listener. As these AI coding tools get better and faster, what completely new skills might you need? What becomes essential to not just keep up, but to really leverage these tools effectively in the tech world? Something to mull over. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.